You gotta stay on your toes in the mist stream. You never know what's gonna happen. I'm calling you out, people who may have not been tabbed in at that exact moment, so you got owned. No. Sorry in advance, though. It's not really why people usually chill here, is I don't do stuff like that. It's very out of character, I apologize. Yo, Ames, what's up? Thank you for the good luck, I hope we're doing well. What was I thinking? I don't know, that was my eccentric side coming out, you know, because it never comes out otherwise, clearly. Thank you for the good luck, Jordan. Fast Shadows 1. RNG manipulation. Yeah, the actually having a microphone, you can interact with the game via verbal commands. It's really the cutting edge technology you have these days to influence RNG is really top notch. Speedrunning is getting kind of expensive. Do I like key lime pie? I love it. If it is a citrus fruit-focused dessert, big fan. My favorite dessert is a lemon meringue pie, so yes, big on that. To be fair, if I actually did scream like super hard into the microphone, I don't think anyone would appreciate that, including myself, because I probably wouldn't have a voice after that, so I don't think I will ever do that. You really shouldn't raise your voice that much when you talk like this, you know? Kind of ruins the point of it. Mic Master. Finally learned Gardener? Let's go, my dude. Unironically, really hard fight on the, at least on the higher difficulties anyway, and even then, even on the, what's it called, even on beginner mode, that fight's a bit technical to have the optimal fight, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, there's something really satisfying about, did I do that menu correctly? Yes, okay. For some reason I didn't clock that. I was like, did I equip EXP0? Just make sure. Become famous for losing a level 1 run because I leveled up by accident. To be fair, stranger things have happened. Oh my god, please. I really do need to make it a better habit that I don't look at chat as frequently when I'm doing particular movements. I feel like I keep losing like split seconds here and there. It's like I don't quite make it around a wall and I'm like running into it partially and stuff. Like, that's not good. What I'm basically saying is it's your fault, chat, not mine, obviously. It's definitely not my incompetence, not making sure I have everything secured before diverting my attention. Because, you know, I'm perfect always. But no. I've definitely been doing that a little bit too much as of late. I need to be a little bit more disciplined as far as, like now I can look back and forth here and there because I have to wait for loads and all that shit. Like, that's the opportune time to actually take a sneak peek at chat and see if I need to catch up on anything. TTL or tactical time loss. I was gonna say, I thought that was Mario 64, but then I was like, no, that's TTC. RNG manipulation. If you run into this wall at a very particular angle, it'll make it so when I fight the shadows in a little bit, when I get to Traverse Town, they will behave much more appropriately. Every death you do 10 push-ups. Does that count the intentional deaths? Yo, Ian, my dude, thank you for the good luck. And gummy deaths? Okay. Well then, an optimal run would seek... what? Well, that just depends on how you define death. Is death inclusive of, losing health to an extent where the fight automatically ends, or do you have to absolutely hit 0 HP? Because I'm trying to debate whether Sabor is actually a death or not, because we don't actually die in that fight, we just get low enough to force the fight to move along. If you had 0, okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. I think an optimal run of this run does 40 push-ups. Death Defuse Dark Side 1, Leon, Carpet Escape, and Artillery once are the 4 times we purposely hit 0 HP. There might be a 5th one I'm not thinking of off the top of my head, but those are the 4 I can think of immediately. LSB? Fuck you. That's not funny. I mean, it totally is funny, but I'm mad. That's one of those, like, I'm laughing, but on the inside I'm like that dude who has like the mask on his face and you can see him crying behind it. That's me when you said that. Like, goddamn. That hits too hard, man. You can't do this to me. Yeah, exactly. That's the exact image that popped into my mind. Yo, Devin, what's up? Thank you for the good luck, my dude. LSB. Really funny though, I appreciate that. I'm gonna be giggling about that for a few minutes, I'm sure. No, you're good. Don't worry. I greatly appreciate the comment. That was a great time to make that joke as well. I would owe 50 push-ups on the back of no, 60 actually. Because I took a death on Ansem 4 because I wanted to make sure I had the setup down for that. Came up with a new strat for LSB, want to hear it? I do. It's called, We Do Atlantica. Lower their HP to 0 before they lower yours to 0? You know, that's a good idea. You know, I think we might be able to use that in a few other spots of the run as well. To be fair, my push-up game needs some work. I'm not the best with that right now. I could probably do like 20 to 30 the first rep and like 10 to 15 the next, and then I'm like exhausted after that. Not very good. But in all seriousness, I know it was a joke, but in all seriousness, I should be getting a little bit better with that. I need to start toning up a little bit more. Yo, Soup, what's up, dude? How have runs been tonight? Fine. This is only my second attempt of the day. I got a 211 on my first attempt, but things didn't go so well. Pretty much starting with LSB. I should not be doing this room. Oops. It's all too late now, I'm committed to that. It's 4... 5. Yeah, not very good. Welcome back, Matt. Was saying goodnight to the lady. Ooh, that's cool. Sorry if I'm not quite popping off as hard as I did the first week we've been back, boys. Run is actually kinda, you know, starting to get to that point I kinda have to, like, try now, I guess. Not that I didn't have to try it before, but that's just kind of how law of averages work, I suppose. I'm not actually apologizing for anything, I'm being facetious, but... If people need a reminder of how difficult it is to actually do this, it should be apparent in the fact I haven't gotten to 207 yet. Because I was pretty confident about that, and I still am, but... Simultaneously, I'm not in full control of getting it. The game has to kind of throw me a bone, at least somewhat, and it's been very, adamant about not doing that. Yeah, that's that's what I was going for, technology, like the live studio audience, quote-unquote. Sam and Freddy kissed? What the fuck? Well, the don't die part isn't ideal because it is optimal to die in a few spots of the game. So I mean, I'd be losing time if I didn't do that occasionally. So those three things don't quite check out. Those are really good soldiers, not shadows. Get this smut off TV. Pretty good. That is true. We don't want to, like, destroy the cosmic balance that the world has set out for us, getting, like, 202 the first, month I've come back to stream and all that, so... It's chill. And it's, like, simultaneously, just because we haven't hit 207 yet, doesn't mean we haven't made advancements. Like, we've gotten some of best, improvements every stream, we've gotten some very good paces every stream, for the most part. There might have been, like, 1 or 2 days, it was just kind of, like, meh. But even then, like, we're getting closer every single day. That's really just the secret to maintaining a healthy mindset when you're on the grind, is just don't even really think about what the end goal is, just kind of write it out, and I feel like it'll just kind of naturally happen when the time comes. Because I remember when I got this PB, I wasn't even really that focused super heavily on the game until, like, End of the World, and ironically that's the worst part of the run. Like, I was kind of like autopilot. sense my temperament like on the verge of potentially swaying because of that, and you never want to go there when you're streaming. For the most part, though, I've been in a pretty good headspace. Like, frustration is just going to inevitably catch up to you when you grind anything, especially something that's difficult and relatively RNG-laden. But as long as there's moderation and as long as there's balance to everything, you can tough it out and it's not so bad. Like that last run. If I can just get a decent run to World of Chaos, and then I have a good Dark Ball room, and then World of Chaos isn't like a complete disaster beyond that, I should be able to get 207, just from that alone, so that's kind of pumped my spirits up a decent bit. Yeah, the only category where Pot Centipede isn't a complete pain is beginner mode, sadly. I guess in standard he's okay, but in Proud and level 1 that fight's a complete nightmare. Probably even worse on level 1, or probably even worse on regular Proud because you don't have Thunder to distribute damage as well. And you have less MP. It's kind of incredible, actually. I would say level 1 is, in general, an easier speedrun, at least until you get to Halloween Town. And even then, like, Oogie 1's not that hard, comparatively to what regular Proud does. I think it has a better time with LSB and Manor, but it has a very bad time with the first Oogie fight, whereas in level 1 it's basically trivialized. I don't know. I'd have to run Proud again to kind of refresh myself with, like, the silly nature of that. One thing that really stands out to me with what was really problematic was the face fight in regular Proud is like a complete fucking shitfest. I remember losing a lot of runs to that particular fight because I did the Ars Arcanum strategy and I couldn't have proper MP versus Arrow versus Ars management and like just a lot of awful things coming from that. Yo, Chocobo, what up, my dude? How you doing, man? Nice to see ya. I hope things are doing okay. Also, I think Hook fight on Proud mode is kinda garbage, if I recall. And it's not even just because of the battle. Well, actually, yeah, it is because of the battleship, but I don't know. I'm too level 1 pilled to think of what the strategies are for other parts of the run that aren't just using EXP0 and magic and a bunch of other stuff right now. That'll change in due time. Do I plan on running level 1 all worlds? Maybe for a little while, not sure yet. I actually submitted level 1 all worlds to GDQ. So if that were to get accepted, then the answer would absolutely be yes. Although I think it's more likely an any % category would be accepted, so I don't really have my hopes too high with that. But you never know. I mean, it's fine game, because, I mean, I would have, like, 2 months to really prepare myself in that chance, and that's plenty of time. I mean, shit. It only took me a week-ish to kind of get the other strats. I mean, I guess I haven't fully figured out all the new stuff quite yet, but I have a pretty good grasp on that in just a week's time, so... I don't think it'd really be a big deal. Plus, I can't imagine the route, or the game is, like... The category is, like, significantly different as far as, all world specific stuff, but maybe it is. Maybe I'm undermining that a little bit, and in that case, I apologize. Point of the matter is, like, in said case, I wouldn't really feel that intimidated, because, I'm pretty comfortable with KH1 as a whole, and I could get used to stuff that I may or may not know inside and out quite as well. I can adapt to it quite quickly, so no worries with that. It's cool that Violin's going to showcase KH1 Beginner at GDQ at PAX, though. I think it'll be the first time a GDQ event has had Beginner any % showcased. Not one of the main ones, but still, it's an advancement, and that's really sick. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, if there's a handful of stuff I have to kind of look at and finalize, to ingrain into my muscle memory on top of what I already know, that's okay. It wouldn't take me more than a few days to get used to it. Yo, Grapes. Any fun runs? Nothing super good yet, but I best segmented Dark Ball Core by almost 10 seconds on my last attempt that I did, so that new strat is already paying off pretty well, so I look forward to a good run that makes it there. No, he's leaving, dude. Come back. It's honestly really rejuvenating to see Dark Balls not actually be like a complete absolute disaster when you're set up properly for them now. Well, like I said, there's still a little bit of variability that comes with it, but I think on average I shouldn't be losing insane time to that fight anymore, which I'm relieved by. Extremely stressful part of the run at the very fucking end, just kind of brought to a relatively more streamlined, simplistic method, and not too much that can go wrong if you are fast with the initial stop and all that. The important part is just making sure you don't, like, mistime your inputs and you're quickly getting that stop off ASAP. After that, you should be okay. Bullshit. Hello? Sabor, please, what are you doing? I'm mad. Why does Sabor have super armor like that sometimes, dude? That makes, like, no sense. I was, like, once in a while it's annoying. Twice back to back, though, that's kind of bullshit. I don't know if I've ever had that happen to me twice in the same fight. Thankfully, it went about as well as I could have asked for given the circumstance, but it doesn't make it any less frustrating. Not being rewarded for your proper timings and execution is always a real low blow to the ego. Which doesn't even make sense, because you did everything in your power. The game just said, eh, don't feel like it. It's like, I pretty much handled that fight the best I could, and the game just didn't want to reward me for it. All good, Egg. Thank you very much for being here, and you take care. See you around, man. This is kind of horrifying. They're really not gonna heal me, are they? Well, stakes are higher than they usually are for this. Don't get hit, dude. I had to play that safe because I didn't realize. I guess I could have thrown a potion, but I was like, dude, I usually can do this fight without taking damage anyway. So I just said fuck it, just went for it, and thankfully that didn't blow up in my face, but I did have to play it a little bit safer just to make sure I didn't get hit by the lasers there. So, like, if I played a little more aggressive because I could afford to take hit, I probably would have not lost as much time, but it's in the past now, whatever. I feel like I made the right choice either way. Yeah, you can kill Clayton with magic while he's in the air, and it has a really funny side effect with it. Just has his weird little corpse, just like floating through space, not giving a fuck. That's the frustrating thing about how you take damage in KH1 though. Or maybe in KH in general, I don't know enough about the exact specifics, but Proud Mode in particular is obnoxious, with a lot of enemies that deal damage to Sora. Is that if you don't hit a certain percentage of your current HP versus your max HP on the back of whatever damage you take, it doesn't queue up the AI of your party to heal you, because it doesn't deem you low enough on health, even if you're like literally one hit away from death. Also, Donald doesn't have Cure at this point, so we can't do that much about that. And your party, or you basically cannot get healed unless you're brought down to 1 HP. In most circumstances in this category, so it's really awkward when you get hit by regular enemies that in the early stages don't quite do enough damage that would normally one-shot Sora from his base HP. Because then you're just kind of left in limbo, one hit away from death until you throw a potion on yourself in the very early stages, so you just kind of have to tough it out sometimes. You're probably put at like 1 or 2 HP higher than the game would view as like you needing a cure because you're about to fucking die. And it's super obnoxious when those situations pop up. There is also a factor though that like, you know, Clayton, we're only like not even a quarter of the way through the run yet. So if I did die, I wouldn't have really cared that much because it's not much to do over again, but it's also a case where I don't really like resetting early game if I can help it, so I just kind of played smartly. Normally that's not even an issue because at full health you can take a hit no matter what, and that's what I usually rely on to be super aggressive, because if I do get hit by either Clayton or Stealth Sneak from full health, it will bring me to 1 HP. And Tarzan almost certainly will heal you in all those circumstances, if that happens, so there's like really not a lot of risk involved with it. But in that specific case, where a Power Wild hit me before Phase 2, I had to be a little bit more cautious. It's really important to understand how the AI operates when it comes to detecting values like your HP and all that.
Mist cannot skip this cutscene.
Because when you do figure that out, you can manipulate it in your favor, but sometimes that's beyond your control, like in that exact fight right there. Yeah, because generally speaking, I think it's if you're at 25% of your HP-ish is like the flag to queue in your party that you need to be healed. Which I think is signified when you enter, the sirens going off, you are at less than 25% health. I think that's what that calculation is. But there's something weird about the AI in the early parts of the game, trying to calculate from Sora's little bit of HP. I don't really know. I don't quite fully understand it. But that's one of the big reasons why we don't we don't equip Brave Warrior in this run, because that boosts Sora's HP. And by virtue of that, he has more HP as like a max guideline, and when he does get hit, your party is not as prone to heal you when you take damage, is actually a small thing with that. In most other categories in KH1, you put on Brave Warrior for the strength benefit. We purposely avoid that in level 1 because the strength doesn't help us, and it fucks up our HP gates, so that even in those circumstances where we would drop to like 1 HP, otherwise we might hang off a tiny bit, and that might fuck with the AI of them, with them not actually healing us given that circumstance. So Brave Warrior is effectively useless in this category, and all the other level ones. Shoutouts to Donald using those thunders to stagger the cards. That was actually quite nice. Made that a lot less chaotic than it usually goes. I told myself to look into Trickmaster a little bit between this stream and the last, and I didn't do that, of course. I've been way too heavily fixated on the end of the world stuff, recent tech that I labbed with the Dark Ballroom and everything, and just Final Rest, and that whole place is entire worlds. Hello? Fall down, please.
イカズ強
When am I going into another category? When I feel like it. I don't feel like it right now. I feel like it'd be silly to stop short of my goal when I've been on pace for it several times. So, we'll get there. Plus, I mean, why would you want to the next category anyway? It just means more content with what I'm currently working on if we don't PB today. Makes my life a little bit easier in a sense. That's something I always have to remind myself about being a speedrun streamer, is it's not even necessarily a bad thing in the grand scheme of things to not have any real improvements going on, because like you're set on what you're gonna do the next day or next stream or whatever the heck. You have something to work towards. I feel like if I wasn't a speedrun streamer, it'd be difficult for me to come up with stuff to do on like a pretty active basis for streaming content. Aside from just playing games I want to eventually try out for the first time. But I mean, that's only a finite amount of stuff right now. I mean, I guess there would be randomizers, which would give you like infinite content from that if you really wish to, but I feel like I would get sick of randos a lot quicker than I would get sick of speedrunning, so I don't know about that. Not that I dislike rando. I like speedrunning and rando a decent bit, but speedrunning is my preferred thing. Oh no, I agree with you. By having some stuff to change every now and then, it prevents burnout, which is very important when you're on the grind for speedrunning. All I'm saying is if you're not at that phase where you're kind of getting burnt out and you're generally doing pretty well with it, you may as well stick with it until you have another breakthrough. I do very much understand, though. I have had a history of getting pretty burnt out on certain things I've ran with this game over time. And I will be doing my best to make sure that doesn't happen again. Even if we are doing pretty well, and we're on the grind, or rather I'm on the grind, and, you know, I'm getting very close to my goal times. Not to overwork myself or overstress anything, and just so we can get there, naturally. Accessory shop. Any games interest you as speed games, but you don't run due to length? Not particularly, it's just mostly... the biggest thing that holds me back is just learning another new game from the ground up. Is like the biggest hurdle, and then actually doing full runs and then getting a feel for it all. Whereas stuff I've done in the past, I already have some kind of a base for it, and it usually doesn't take me super long to get back up to speed, even if I haven't ran it in a while. But length doesn't usually deter me from running stuff. What does intimidate me is the potential skill set and general execution and technical aspects of what a game may require of the runner to actually do the runs consistently. And or potentially at a very high level for like top times and stuff like that if I end up being competitive with it. But no, I can't really say there's any game... I guess I can say it in the past. I didn't run KH1 because it was on PS2 only for a bit. And for a bit I mean like 10 years. And that was a big reason for it. So I guess if you asked me the question earlier, when I was like getting into speedrunning, I would definitely say yes, but in modern day, the length of a run doesn't really intimidate me so much. It's like what you actually do within that allotted time that would intimidate me. Pretty much, Rosette. It's a good way of looking at it. Although I am of the opinion that a proper, like a reasonable length, not too long and not too short, it makes a good speed game. Anyway. Although that being said, I feel like shorter speed games are pretty cool because you're like sprinting through the whole fucking thing non-stop. It really depends on what you value, but I think I like runs that are like a couple hours on average. They like fit nicely in the middle of that.
ご覧
As far as any percent goes, I mean, if we're talking like 100% type speedruns where they're going to be naturally longer because of that, I mean, that's something else entirely. But there is like this genuine mindset from people who don't speedrun specifically. I'm not trying to like talk about anyone vaguely. I've seen it from like various other marathon chats of speedruns and everything about, oh man, it takes 3 hours to beat this game. Wow, this sure is a fast speedrun. Am I right, dude? I'm like, well, dude. You have to look at what you're actually doing in those 3 hours. Just because it takes a longer time to finish a game in a speedrun setting than something else doesn't mean it isn't a good speed game and or it's boring. I find that to be a very silly comparison. That's like, well, this speedrun sucks because this one takes 30 minutes and this one takes 3 hours. This is like, what the fuck? Like, how is that even comparable? They're just shorter games or shorter runs, dude. There's plenty of runs that are very short that are not good at all because there's just not a lot of quality, like, you know, content to them. I ever tell you all about the haunted hotel room I stayed in? Oh no, did you go to that one place from the Devil in Me? I hope not. Do you ever mix up strats when switching categories? Sometimes. I've definitely done a couple things where I almost went in the beginner mentality. Like I was running beginner any percent instead of level 1 any percent, and some really dumb things have happened because of that. Hey, Rye Guy, thank you for the good luck. Once I'm running a category for a decent bit of time, like I've kind of reassessed exactly what I'm running again. Usually that doesn't happen, but yes, I have definitely confused strats with certain parts of the run. Routing, combat, movement, whatever you want to phrase it as. I've definitely confused one run for another at various points over the course of running KH1 and various other games as well. And it's always a really silly sensation when that comes up. Damn, dude. That message went places I wasn't quite prepared for. I don't really know how to respond to that. Shit. What is it that you do? KH1 over KH2. I just like the game more. It's pretty clear cut with that. Like I always played KH1 more than 2 when I was growing up. Most people speedrun games that are their childhood favorites, or just a game if they're just a favorite game in general, I would say. KH1 isn't my all-time favorite game, but it's definitely up there. It's probably like number 2 or number 3. First would be Majora's Mask, and then probably KH1, and then probably FF9. Although I might have to reassess my my favorite games going forward, especially with newer games I do plan on playing later this year. Always subject to change, but I think Majora's Mask is always going to be my favorite game for the rest of my life. I'd be surprised. I have done Majora's Mask Rando in the past, it's just been a long time. I wouldn't be opposed to doing it again once in a while. There's something about just the raw environment. Yes, I said the N in environment, sue me. Environment, raw in the middle. And the overall aesthetic and just the looming dread of how it kind of mirrors real life in a lot of aspects that's very captivating to me. Like, Majora's Mask has made me feel things I don't think I've felt from any other game I've played. And that's actually saying quite a bit. Nice ether drop. Favorite Majora's Mask side quest I'm in. I feel like there's always that one that it's kind of notoriously known for, but it just genuinely is my favorite for, you know, obvious reasons, would be Andrew and Cafe. That side quest in and of itself was more compelling to me than even just like the general narrative of the game because of just how much the small things matter in life. And that, like, just being privileged, you know someone and get to actually meet someone you can actually be with until, even if your life is cut short, just being able to have experienced that is, like, priceless, and that really means a lot. Because, you know, like, they get back together at the very end, and things are still fucked up and are not going to be perfect right before the moon crashes, but they're still happy being together, even in their final moments, and that's honestly pretty beautiful. He is almost certainly going to stop in this room here. Yep. I mean, if I had the power in life to like reset the 3 days in that scenario where I could actually make life happy for everyone, if I was successful at the end of my trek through going through time over and over again. No, I want that to be this. Then yeah, I do it. But if I would never ultimately resolve anything and it's just kind of an infinite loop, then that's depressing and I wouldn't want to be a part of that. MM has this kind of interesting thing that's implied by the end of the game. Oh, Donald, you idiot. That all the timelines of everything Link had done up to that point kind of converge once the moon is actually dealt with. In response to the, what's it called? The masks that you pick up that don't reset when you go through time and everything. Maybe that's just, what's called a theory with that, and it's not actually confirmed, but the game seems to imply that when you're seeing the credits and all the people are, like, actually happy again once the moon has gone away. Yeah, Spitool, what's up, dude? Thank you for the good luck. It's just amazing to me how much content is in Majora's Mask if you're willing to invest the time to figure it out and explore and discover for yourself. There's stuff that's like vaguely hinted at, and when you actually fully invest the time to check it out, certain things are really quite dark and depressing that you find out that are going on in people's lives, even over the course of just a 3-day cycle. Feels like pretty much any extended problem or still like some kind of grieving going on or just some really awful event is always present, like to pretty much every extreme possible, and it's really it really hurts to think just how corrupt and how bad things can be in the world without people even being aware of it. Like I said, Majora's Mask makes me think and feel things that no other game has really made me think of before. That's why it resonates with me so much. I guess to answer the general question is I wouldn't want to be a part of a time loop because I feel like, well, I guess, I was gonna propose something, but I kind of don't like where my mind went just then. I was gonna say, you would never get out of it, but I guess in theory, because I feel like people coming into this world and leaving this world is just a natural progression of life, and to have that, like, never, really have a definitive ending, you know, that wouldn't really be quite, like, I guess one thing is, like, I'm just not afraid of death as a concept, and, you know, as to what's actually going to happen eventually when everyone eventually who walks the earth is just gone eventually, all that stuff. Just kind of knowing that that's never going to happen unless you, you know, try to break the cycle through forceful means, which is why I didn't want to say anything. But even then, like, does that even matter? Is it not going to matter that you did that, potentially? Because it's just going to repeat in, like, 3 days anyway. I don't know what the context with that is. I wouldn't want to be a part of a time loop just because there would be, like, no definitive end to anything ever. I feel like everything needs to eventually come to a close, regardless of how sad and depressing it might be. Forced memory loop, or wipe, rather. Yeah, see, it's a different context, though, because in Majora's Mask, you remember everything. Or at the very least, it's implied you remember everything, because you play as Link, who goes through all these timelines that he, ends up scouring as you play through the entire game in and of itself. So, I mean, I feel like you'd have to be put in that same position, so I don't know if it's really that quite the comparable thing in regards to Majora's Mask versus, like, the general question of a time loop. It really depends on the, specifics we're getting at here. That's what I mean. Like, I think ultimately just no, I would never want to be part of it. The only time I would want it to be part of a time loop is if I could eventually rework it to the point where, I could influence, like, the best possible outcome and then just kind of leave it at that, but no one is omniscient, so I mean, how are you going to ever actually truly do that? Majora's Mask makes it a very, potent thing that, aside from the potential speculation that the timelines, converge when you actually, stop the moon from crashing on that one cycle where you beat the game. Prior to that, you cannot save or undo, everything. And you have to live with your choices on whether, you let this particular group of people suffer the effects of the wrath of, you know, when Majora and, just the awful spirits that have pervaded the world of Termina surround them. Or you're going to let this particular group of people actually get out of that cycle for the time being and let them actually get back to their lives prior to the time resetting itself again. It's a very deep thought as far as what you're actually doing and what you're not doing. Like, it's crazy to imagine said circumstance where anything you do ultimately doesn't matter if it repeats. And any good or bad is just automatically, you're just absolved of anything you've done. In a world with, like, effectively no consequence when you're just going over back and back again. Like, just that in and of itself would drive me mad, because it just, you're not going anywhere, you're stuck. In, like, effectively a purgatory state. It's just like, who the fuck wants to experience that? You're not going backwards, but you're not going forwards either. It's just like nothing is being made, honestly. There kind of comes a point where it's like, it's almost better to go down, like trend downwards, than just stagnate. And that in and of itself is a very depressing thought to think of. Just because monotony inherently might be the worst thing of all. I'm just grateful, at least with current technology. I think one time when we brought this up, someone said time travel will never be a thing, because if it was, it would already exist. Or like time travel, like time machines would exist already, and they're only just like a purely sci-fi concept. But it's just like, what if? What if actually like insane science breakthroughs happen and that does become a thing someday? It kind of terrifies me. But by virtue of how space and time operates, if time travel were possible, and I think technically it is possible, but you'd only be able to go like forwards in time or something like that. But like actually going back in time has already been proven impossible by the laws of nature. But it is a very fun thing to propose in a hypothetical sense. I mean, God knows how many works of media and fiction have already delved into that a numerous amount of times. It's like, I think I remember hearing about how time traveling forward may, in theory, be doable, but not backwards. Someday, anyway. Unless you want to count, like, cryogenic sleep and other shit, but that's not strictly time travel, that's just, you know, putting someone in a dormant state. Even then, I don't even know if that's actually a thing and not just, like, some sci-fi concept. Yeah, I suppose our only real... Yeah, sleeping effectively is time travel. Because you're just kind of in this, like, stasis of, imaginary shit. Or at the very least, like... sensation or, concept of time is lost on you when you enter that kind of level of subconscious, so... It is kind of cool in a way it does exist, but not in, like, the literal sci-fi techie way that it's addressed in media. Alcohol is time travel fuel. Yeah, you see, now we're unlocking true mental pathways here. This is why the prospect of time travel is a harrowing thing, just because technically there are methods that basically act as time travel, but there's like no good way of doing that at the same time, so it's just like, shit, dude. I mean, I guess sleeping is like the most tame way of that, but even then you can still have nightmares and awful shit happen to you while that's going on, so even then that's up for debate. I mean, yes, but that's purely fictitious. There's a big difference between characters that aren't real experiencing time travel and like in the actual case of someone who is a real person experiencing this. It's like that's already been done to death a million times, and it's not really something people, I think, heavily fixate on, but people have wondered if that might be something people actually experience in real life, and that in and of itself is kind of a scary thought to think of. A fifth-dimensional being is speedrunning Myst speedrunning KH1. Fuck, dude. This is getting way too many levels of fucked up. I don't know if I like this convo. Yo, Prender, what's up, dude? Thank you very much for the good luck, I appreciate that. Yo, Prender, thank you very much for the gifted sub to SSB Yuka. And as for Yuka, welcome to the Mist Continent and enjoy the emotes you can use on Twitch for the next 30 days. Thank you very much, Prender, very kind of you. Appreciate the gifted subs as of late, my guy. It's very, very nice of you. That is kind of fucked up. The way that that whole situation is. That's why, like, as scary as life can be sometimes, man, the unknown is kind of a good thing at the same time as it being a stressful thing. Like, there are some things in life you're just not supposed to know about until they happen. Or, like, I would much rather not know about until they evidently happen, because then it's just, like... It's very easy for you to just lose purpose or, like, get, you know, demoralized and depressed about, you know, what is even the purpose of me being in this world type of shit. It's like, people would, like, pray... with the ability to see the future sometimes, given circumstances, but I think having the power to see the future might be like the most fucking, like the worst superpower you could possibly have, just due to the circumstances surrounding that. Because if you see a future you don't like and you can't prevent it, you're gonna feel like it's your fault. Like, I mean, that's basically, I mean, it's a very, very, surface level thing, but that's kind of how Xenoblade Chronicles is, at least the first one. That's a big, well, not the entire game, but that's a big part of Xenoblade 1.
Yes.
And it's just like, I don't know, dude. I would not want to be in Shulk's position if I actually had the ability to do that. But I don't want to talk too heavily on that game because the narrative is really good, so... I will say this is an interesting topic, though. I would chip in more about it on a more thoughtful level if I didn't have to split my brain in half, partially, to also speedrun video game. But I do like this philosophical type of discussion every now and then. Yo, P, what up, dude? Got home from work and you're tired? At least just survived, my guy. I hope you're doing okay. 1, 1, 4. That's what I mean, like, I feel like I'm probably tiptoeing around stuff and not really thinking hardcore enough about the whole prospect because I literally can't put my full focus on that on a run that's, like, actually good, so... I feel like these combos can only get, like, so deep without them kind of falling off the rails a bit because I lose the thread or the core of the whole discussion and I might miss points other people say that could make me think differently about my current stance, and it's just, you know, it's awkward. It'd be a different thing if it was like a just chatting stream and I wasn't really focused on anything else besides general discussion. Oh no, absolutely. Like it is very thought-evoking, and that's what I appreciate about that. Is your mind might go somewhere that you wouldn't have thought otherwise without exchanging with other people. And that in of itself is a pretty beautiful thing to experience. Well, sometimes. Other times, you learn stuff you probably didn't want to know about. But that isn't as common as the former, so... We were just going on a brief tangent about, what if someone was stuck in a time loop, and, the ramifications of actually repeating the same 3 days, because Majora's Mask got brought up, which is my favorite game. And there was like a little bit of discussion in regards to how that game operates as its main basis, which eventually turned into a discussion about what if someone actually was able to effectively time loop for the same period of time over and over again in real life, and it went places. No! Ah, you bitch. I can't see! Whatever. Yeah, honestly, I didn't mean to do that, but then I saw that, you know, the models collided and I still had iframes, and that actually might have just saved this run. So, that's cool, I guess. At least I didn't die to the fucking fight this time, so we're in a good standing, but... God, they're so obnoxious. Now I'm gonna go die on Manor. No, hopefully not. All I'm trying to say is just because I didn't get killed by LSB doesn't mean we're in the clear yet. There's still plenty of run left. Yeah, I had a pretty awful fight in PB, and the segment itself was very good until I got to the fight in general, so I'm in an average fight, or a decent fight with a very good segment prior. Still pretty good time save. We take that. Ow. I have followers that, we do this occasionally, but I definitely have a handful of followers that have been following me for over 9 years at this point, which was crazy to think about. Really? Wow. Recycle OD1 is very uncommon. Yo, Idesla, what up, my dude? Thank you very much for the good luck. I mean, I've been streaming, on and off, at the very least, since, early 2012. And I started really ramping it up once KH1 runs began in 2013. So I definitely have a couple people from like late 2013, early 2014 era, which is pretty much the basis of my oldest followers at this point that still watch. Yo, Game Addict, what's up, dude? Where am I going? This way. We are getting old, Sedge. I mean, hey, dude, I turned 27 later this year. That's crazy to me. I remember when I was still a teenager, starting speedruns in this game. They're out of potions. Holy shit. I don't like this one. Not at all. Okay, thank God I got that. I got scared. That is not a good time to drop a combo when you need to use a finisher to knock the enemies away. I got very scared there. Not a good manner fight. How long was the world record in 2015? Depends on the category. Beginner mode, I think, had just hit 248. 249 going into 248 at the start of 2015 for beginner on PS3. Level 1, I have no idea. Names of the final bosses in KH1 and 2. Ansem, Seeker of Darkness times like 50, and Zemnis times 50. And yes, the subtitle of Seeker of Darkness is important now. Because now we have, there are 2 Ansems in the franchise, so you need to specify that. Which one isn't even Ansem, it's just Xehanort's Heartless that goes by the name of Ansem, because, you know, normal stuff. Where's my nobody? My name already has an X in it, so I don't think that's how that works. As far as I'm aware, you're only allowed to have 1 X in your name in the KH series. I don't think we have any names with 2 X's unless I'm blanking on that. What about having 2 X's in your name? I mean, can you name me a KH character with 2 X's? Because I genuinely can't think of one. Interesting, actually, that with X being such a prominent letter in KH, you're only allowed to have one X as a part of your nobody or whatever the fuck name. If your name happens to have an X in it, there's never someone with two X's. I mean, to be fair, how many fucking names are there with two X's? Not that that really matters, because they can just make some weird shit up with anagrams if they really wanted to, but I can't think of an actual name that has two X's offhand. Take that. Are you joking, dude? Why? Oh! Saved? Are you telling me he actually killed my party really quickly and this might actually be fine? Oh. I'm gonna do one more, because I didn't really keep track of that. Okay. Well, annoying that that had to happen, but that could have been a lot worse, so whatever. Game actually gave me a little bit of sympathy by killing party right out the gate with Anti-Sora. I wish we could find a consistent way to do that in case that happens. So, whatever, man, I'll take that. What a time for a Clank, though. Oh my god, that was awful. Yes, Naminé is, supposed to be Kairi's nobody. But it's like, there's like this weird thing where it's like Princesses of Light shouldn't have that happen, so there's like a really weird thing going on with that. I don't know the full thing behind that, because KH is, elaborate. For better or for worse. That was amazing. That was absolutely amazing how that fight went. I can't believe how good that was. Oh my god, and the stip shot, the stip shopped. The shop. I saw both of them. There we go. I can English. It's just like, just quit while you're ahead, man. You don't know what you're talking about. Just say the thing. Yo, Vash, thank you very much for the raid, my guy. Hope stream was good, fam, and all that. Thank you very much, and I hope we're doing well today. Huh. It gets calculated, like it's being added up while you're dealing the damage, and then it gets dealt once the stop wears off. But a very interesting quirk of EXP0 is that if your last attack is a finisher when they come out of stop, every single attack you do, including the first 2 hits that lead up to your finisher, do finisher scaled damage. No, I want that to be that. So it's like, imagine I just did like, I don't know, out of those 8 hit combos I was doing, you know, instead of like, you know, only 2 or 3 of them being finisher scale damage, all 8 of them were finisher scale damage. And that just is like, you know, constantly being applied as they're coming out of stop. It does like an insane amount when it's done properly. Because your finishers deal about double damage compared to regular physical hits prior to that. So yeah, damage be really big if you do it properly. Please get over here. Play some Hades or Pokemon before bed. Still never really looked into Hades, despite the rep that it had during that 1 year, and Pokemon I kind of fell out of after Gen 4. Gen 5 apparently was peak for the series, and then it just kind of went downhill after that. Ah, shit. Oh, I didn't even realize they were making a Hades 2, that's cool. Not a great bell tower heartless fight, but Oppo was pretty good, so we take that. Yeah, I heard Gen 9 was really messy. I kept talking about that, but I still haven't investigated because I've been preoccupied with other things, but yeah. I remembered seeing on Twitter there was this one animation that someone was working on as a fan project about like the trainer galloping on the back of like one of their Pokemon, and the Pokemon like disappears while they're in the animation, and they're just kind of floating in the air, and that was just meant to be like basically what the janky bullshit was supposed to be like, as far as buggy stuff. And they made a meme about it, about how like I didn't realize my work in progress animation ended up being canon. Nice indeed. It's a good pace. That's the unfortunate side of things, isn't it? something is extremely lucrative, it means they can get away with less and less quality going forward. So it's like when they get around to Gen 10, you can just expect some really annoying shit that shouldn't be in the game. That being said, I'm not really in the whole Pokemon loop. I stopped really getting invested after Gen 4, so technically I don't really care that much what they do with it, because I'm not really interested anymore. But for those who are invested, I'm sorry, that's kind of what Pokemon is like right now. How invested am I in KH4? Pretty, reasonably. Just based on the very little stuff they've showcased, I look forward to seeing what they do with it. I mean, I've kept up with the series to a decent degree so far. So, I mean, I will at least check it out, because, you know, one of the games in the series is one of my favorite games of all time, and as a subsequent thing of that, a lot of the games in the series are games I enjoy a decent bit. So unless they really flop with 4, I perceive myself as being fairly okay with it, anyway. I hope when 4 comes out, it's kind of a jump from how 1 to 2 was, as far as them working with their newer engines and just generally figuring stuff out. I feel like 4 genuinely has the potential to be like one of the best KH games ever made, if it has a lot of care and detail put into it. With what Square and everyone else knows by now. They still need to work on a few things, and I'm not trying to overblow hype and all that shit, because, you know, no one's ever gonna truly know until it actually releases, but if they can remedy a few things they had issues with in 3 and just refine that to make an even better 3, basically, I could see KH4 being maybe my second favorite, depending on what they do with it. I feel like I'm always gonna approve of KH1 as my favorite no matter what. But if they really do good stuff with 4, when the time comes, it could definitely be my second favorite in the series, depending on how it goes. That's what I mean, like, there's still not quite enough, like, there's barely any info on 4, so it's very early to make any kind of judgment with that. But all I'm saying, based on what is available, I think they have something interesting that they're working with, so we'll have to go from there. It's like that Keyblade whip thing that Sora did to launch himself closer to Darkseid. That fucking thing was cool. KH3 was already pretty flashy with its movement, and it looks like 4 is going to go a step beyond that. And I just think if they can actually cohesively manage a skill set with movement tech and a bunch of other things, I feel like 4 could be a very fun and exciting game to play. Like I said though, unfortunately KH has also suffered from stuff being very flashy but not being very practical, so looks is one thing, actual integration is another, and it's too early to make calls on that just based on it, but just even being able to showcase that as a potential thing you could do in the game, at least in early game development footage, like maybe not necessarily finalized. I'm down with it. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with how they did Gummies in 3, and I wouldn't mind them doing it in a pretty similar way going forward. 3 was the first time we had Gummies and they didn't actually feel like they were completely just there to eat up time as an auto-scroller type thing. I appreciate actual free roaming and general exploration. I know Gummies are going to be the subject of just, you know, a bunch of unfavorable thoughts, just because it's kind of become notorious in the series of Gummy stuff being like the worst part of the game in most people's eyes, but even if people still feel that way, I think they're definitely trending upwards with it, with 3's entry, and I hope they do more stuff along the lines of how 3 handled it. Some people like how it is in 1 and 2 because it's like a little bit more mindless and you don't have to be like as in tune with it, I guess, to get through the sections that involve it. But I guess it really just depends on what you want out of it. Like, I guess in a way it is a downside because gummies do take longer to get through now, generally, to get to the next world, but it also doesn't feel like they're just randomly thrown in there as like a way to kind of mitigate some semblance of distributing like how you get from world to world as like a kind of weird auto-scrollery type thing. Like, actual explorable space is a big plus in my eyes. Yeah, 4 is basically like, I mean, it is pretty much the beginning of a new arc for KH, and I feel like they can redefine the rules and just go in whatever direction they wish. That's one of the things that excites me the most about 4, is I feel like it's very unpredictable as far as what exactly they're going to do as of right now. Once they release more info, we'll have a better idea as the direction they're heading into, but for right now, you could suggest just about anything, and it wouldn't be off the table. Yo, Sun Zero, thank you for the good luck, I appreciate that. I don't know how exactly you would manage worlds in KH anyway, without gummy stuff though, because I mean, otherwise you would just like be magically teleporting from world to world, and that wouldn't really make that much sense. I mean, I know like the beings of darkness can do that with their darkness portals and shit, but warriors of light can't do that. So I don't know how you necessarily would propose the idea of it, of traveling between different areas without gummy stuff at this point. Maybe KH4 will answer that question. Not the best streaker fight. I mean, that is fair, but it's also a case of you're still exploring a space between the worlds, even if it is an abridged version of that. And I suppose they could have done gummy mission stuff in BBS if they really wanted to, because they already had a world map kind of set up in a way that it is like KH2. They just decided not to do that. Although that being said, maybe the PSP couldn't handle it. My point is, like, you would have to have a world map of some kind. And I guess, I mean, I don't know. Maybe they could find something else to do with that. But with how, you know, Sora, Doll, and Goofy, which I know they're separated at this point now, but just with how the games have been strewn about, I'm kind of scratching my head a bit as to how exactly you would make that work. Yeah, Jackal Prime. My night's going pretty okay, I hope yours is too. Thanks for asking. I don't know the exact conversion rate for money to yen. Never mind. I thought you meant like USD. Good question. I failed the cool movement tech? Wow. Trash run, dude. I waited just barely too long and I didn't get the full speed boost on that. Any patches currently? If you mean like modifications to the game, there is a mod that's allowed for speedruns that makes it so you cannot miss the ship going into Neverland, because if you don't clear Halloween Town, Monstro, and Atlantica prior setting course for Neverland, there is a roughly 1 in 3 chance you can miss the ship. And yo, GG Van. I got secrets. You know how it is. Any logic to the situation commands in KH3, or are they pretty much randomly generated? There definitely is something to them, although I'm not an expert on 3, so I couldn't answer that in thorough detail. But they're not completely random. Stop. That, and cottage. Because if they were purely random, then data org strats wouldn't work with setups like that. Yo, ASL Phoenix, thank you very much. Did I not take beast ethers? I need to check that. Like when I do the next menu, because my items ain't quite right, dude. I had a panic on my face during that fight, if anyone noticed, because I almost used the fucking Mega Elixir that I got from the thing just previously, and that would have been very bad if I did that on accident. So, thankfully I avoided that disaster. But like I like had the fear of God in me for like a split second. Yeah, screw this up a little bit. Waited a little bit too long with my stop intervals between resetting and all that stuff, so not very fast. Weirdest way you've lost a solid run? My nose randomly started bleeding out of nowhere when I was in Hollow Bastion on an OK run. That was awkward, and I had to go, you know, not just fucking sit there and, you know, have that just going at it. How was LSB? Good. Hey, dude, I need to check beast items. Hold on. I did? Oh, what the fuck? Huh. Oh, I stocked both of them, that's why. Well. I need to change that, like, right fucking now. I didn't exchange to Sora. Losing some time here, but whatever. I need to make sure that I have that set up going forward. The run wasn't that particularly great. It could have PB'd, but I was like, dude, fuck this. I'm not gonna get banned on Twitch because I'm just bleeding from my fucking nose randomly. Because they ban you for having bodily fluids on stream in any way. Make of that what you wish. An own, dude. This is gonna be a really bad segment. Yeah, not great. You didn't expect that answer and it made you laugh. To be fair, I feel like there's a lot of things I've done that people have been very unexpected of, that are very unexpected of me in the eyes of most people, so yeah, that's just par for the course. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing depends on the situation, but... I mean, to be fair, air comboing Riku on PS3 and PS2, especially PS2, is like insanely fucking hard. It's a lot easier to do that in 60 FPS because of how much more responsive the game generally is, but on older versions, doing air combos on Riku is really fucking difficult. And considering this game was made 20 years ago when that was the norm, yeah, I probably wouldn't have expected people to have done that either. And it's still not easy to do even in 60 FPS. But on 30 FPS versions, air comboing is really difficult to manage properly. Most headache part? Subjective. It's hard for me not to think of LSB when you say that. But, I get you. The part of the run where it's completely up to Genie to, you know, get rid of Behemoth is never that relaxing, especially when you're on a decent pace. Yeah, McSqueegee, how runs be going? First run was messy, this run is not too bad. If I can keep up with my run until I get to my big time saves toward the end, I think we'll be in a good space, but that's yet to be seen. Thank you for the good luck, Young. Don't make a cage banger your phone alarm. I may or may not have a persona banger as my phone alarm in modern day, but I'm not gonna talk about that too much. No, I've only played P5. Don't spoil 3 and 4 for me, please. I haven't played that yet. I will eventually, but P5 song. I'm just gonna be that guy that stands off to the side while the tomatoes are being thrown and just not say anything. I mean, I'm not really particularly fond of the cat either, but I went from really hating him to being neutral about it, but I'm not really that fond of him. I overblew that pretty hard, but it was mostly just because I wanted to emphasize how annoyed I was getting with him, but it kind of went too far at a certain point. And then I played Strikers, and he mellowed out a little bit, and I didn't mind him, but not my favorite character. That doesn't excuse that one part of the game being obnoxious as fuck. And, like, I'm never going to, like, really understand how people could defend that particular segment of the game, at least narratively speaking, but... It is what it is, man. That being said, that's like the only real bad memory I have associated with my playthrough of it. It was a very good game, but that part kind of sucks. Oh well. Can you turn off the rain and the cold? I'm kind of tired of it. Okay, but it's gonna take a few more weeks, my guy. I'm working at it. We had once in a decade snow here. Oh right, California. Be wild in. I forgot about that. I mean, I used Morgana a lot as well when I first played, just because I wanted a designated healer, but I should have utilized Makoto a little bit more efficiently for that role. When I got later in the game, probably would have made life less obnoxious. Life might have changed. Yeah, I'm not really super familiar with how the weather patterns are over there in the West Coast, because I've been a New Englander my entire life. and I haven't really traveled too heavily outside of a few instances. Like, Makoto is great because she's pretty good for damage and is also a decent healer on top of it, so she's very well-rounded as a character. Outside of, obviously, Joker just, you know, fucks all the time, but... Makoto is probably the best party member in that game outside of Joker, just because of her healing capabilities and also pretty good damage output on a lot of enemies. I don't love Makoto as much as other people, but I do like her a lot. And if we're talking purely from like a gameplay standpoint, I definitely think she's the best overall party member outside of the main character. In most situations. Like, I feel like I was using her almost the entirety of the game after she joined. Aside from specific situations, you know, where there's like Psy enemies and other stuff. Don't get me wrong, I definitely gel with her, but she isn't like my favorite personality. But I mean, I definitely didn't disrespect her like a certain other girl that people got very mad about during the playthrough. And in which case, honestly, I probably don't like her as much as the other girls in the game as well on top of that, but still, I like her. Like, there's only like one girl in P5 most people don't seem to really like very much, and that is almost like a universal opinion. And then you're spoiled for choice on pretty much the other ones that are made like a notable character, whether they're like a party member or a social link. Oh, did you did Phoenix say the no-no word that you're not supposed to know about until like much later? Yeah, you gotta be careful about that. I find it funny that everyone, like, there's like a meme where Ouya is like referred to as like, oh no. Because like so many people don't like her. I honestly don't hate her. Like, she's fine, but I can understand why most people are not fond of Ouya. But you don't like journalist drunk mommy? Whose whole personality is I like getting tanked. Well, I mean, that's not true, but... There is a reasonable storyline with her, but... benefits from her social link are not good. As a lot of thunders and a stop, I'm not very confident in what this genie is doing for me right now, dude. I would love to be proven wrong, but I don't know. I don't think he did a very good job, but I guess we'll find out shortly. Not looking good. No, I don't think he did well. Average, I guess. Average to below average. I think I got the same genie roll, like basically the same RNG last run, but that's too bad. If I was on a really good run, I wouldn't care that much, but that's like just bad enough to kind of make me a little uneasy.
Beep boop.
If you know, you know.
Mist cannot skip this cutscene because this cutscene is an unskippable cutscene that he cannot skip because it is unskippable.
Well, here's the good news. We got 2 minutes of leeway going into End of the World, which is usually what I'm looking for if I want to realistically get an improvement, so hopefully it'll be enough, but I think 207 would be tricky to pull off with this run, but PB should still definitely be doable. That line always have echo? Yes. I mean, it's an overlap from the exact same segment of the run from GDQ. And I don't have it specifically timed to the frame where it's synced up and everything, so I'm sorry if there's a slight echo with it. I just kind of play it when the scene generally begins. That being said, pretty much any girl you want to get with in P5, I can understand. I mean, hell, I know, I remember there was at least someone that told me that oh yeah was someone's favorite. I'm just like, that's fine. Like, I'm not really like super hardcore about that kind of, you know, it's like they give you the option for a reason, so let people do what they wish. That's what I mean, like, that's fine. I'm not gonna be one of those people who's like, what the fuck is wrong with you, dude? You have all these other girls available and you go for the worst, like just, it's a fucking video game. Let them do what they wish. There's a reason why a lot of people are together with certain other individuals, and there might be stuff they see in them that, you know, other people, it might not be, the same, you know? There's someone out there for everyone, so let people respect their choices. That's what I like to assume a lot of the time, but it's like, you gotta be careful. I know how serious some people can actually unironically be about stuff like this, and it's rather sad. So I mean, if it is purely for memes, like, by all means, go ahead for it. Did I say by all memes? By all means, go ahead, but... I'm not always 100% sure, especially if it keeps getting brought up consistently whenever there's like hot takes, quote-unquote, about people's view on characters. Really good. Really, really good. Don't fuck with P5 fans, we've never played it. Yeah, big Yoshizawa fan as well. That's the person I went after, out of all the selections to do the stuff, you know. I appreciated what they added for her overall story arc in that game. Because she was not a part of the original Persona 5, and albeit some stuff with the final like chapter that P5 kind of goes into. I'm doing my best to tiptoe around this so I don't say anything like very blatant, but I'm still happy that you know, things ended up being the way that they were. But I can understand why people are not very pleased with the ending to P5R compared to vanilla P5. Well, that's okay. Yeah, I think I remembered hearing about that, how There's supposed to be like one of your two confidants in that game was supposed to be another member of the team, and then they both got split into like their own separate social links or confidants, whatever. Because I know they're called social links in the other Persona games, just from looking up general wiki stuff and whatnot. Nice time save. I mean, that's perfectly fine. What an upgrade. I still think back to that one scene when Futaba's like, steal it! And then it's like, wait, we can't do that from here. And then she's like, oh. And she just walks back to the closet and closes it. It's like one of the most memorable, like, bits of the game for me. Just like, okay, fuck this. I still laugh about that. Oh, she's very good. She's one of my favorites. What are these drops, dude? Look at this Platinum Trophy run. You remember that one time I did a Platinum Trophy run and I got a Defender drop from this terminal? And then we got the weird audio nuke sound glitch all wrapped up in one in like succession. That was a wild fucking clip, dude. I think it's buried in like the really old archives and shit. Yo, average bread, thank you. Ah, fuck. I did Yusuke pretty dirty when I did my first playthrough of that, and I've come to appreciate him as a character a lot more, especially on the back of playing Strikers. Because his like little character arc in that game was really good. Yeah, it made me upset that I didn't treat him so well in P5R. It only took me until the final palace of the game to realize physical skills actually do be pretty good. And when I play the later games, I'm not going to make that same mistake, because looking back, oh my god, I can't imagine how frustrated people must have been seeing that. I didn't want to use them, because I thought I was going to die from the HP you have to sacrifice to do those moves, dude. And that was kind of a faux pas on my behalf, because I played on Merciless the first time, and I just wanted to conserve as much HP as I could. But now I have a much bigger appreciation, and I understand how that works now, so I won't make that same mistake in later entries. But good grief. I apologize for my incompetence on P5 sometimes, dude. Even for a first playthrough, I made some really dumb fucking decisions. But that's okay. It's a learning process, and we got there eventually, and I still enjoyed my time, but oh my god. It's painful to look back on that playthrough sometimes, because I just know so much more about how the game operates now. Am I going for the Dark Ball time save this run? Nah. I just want to lose 30 seconds again. I think it's fun. I mean, I am going for it, and hopefully I don't mess it up, but yeah, ideally we will save a lot of time on that split when and if the time comes for it. If we make it there. Still have a few more things to get through before that time save rises. Please get up there. Okay. I think the dynamic I used the most, looking back, was probably Makoto, Morgana, and On, which is not a very efficient dispersal of party members, but what can you do? I vaguely remember that being probably my general setup for stuff. A lot of the time. Although it has been a while since I played. It's been literally 2 years since I played it for the first time, so I might be wrong about that. But I think that's the typical party I usually was rolling with by the time you have everyone together. Mostly just because I wanted to always have heals on hand, because I didn't mind waiting out fights. Which is probably not a very smart thing to do in the grand scheme of things, because the quicker you kill the dude, the less you have to worry about, but oh well. Pretty good. Not perfect, a little funky, but not bad. Yo, Trace, what up, man? How have you been, dude? Nice to see ya. Well, let's see how Final Fights treat us. Thank you for the good luck, Seeker.
そこだ
Items. What are items? I don't know. Help. Yo, Chrome. Oof, don't do that. Cool. Good start to ending fights. Hopefully we can keep that up. Not over yet. Definitely not over yet. You stop shortcutted? No, I never shortcut it. If you mean hotkeyed, I have to set that during artillery. Like from the actual magic menu, but it's not my shortcut. I only use pure fire and gravity on my shortcut. I don't like this. I need to hurry the fuck up right now. Because I am behind on damage and he's gonna fucking destroy me in about 2 seconds here. Please die. Okay. I didn't like that, man. I really didn't. He did a lot of fast attacks at the end and I wasn't sure if I was gonna get there before the laser showed up. Really good. Wow. Pretty much perfect patterns there, aside from that one shadow. That was really nice. Ah, shit, dude. Oh, fuck. Oh, fucking... Dude, how did I not fucking see that shit? Oh my god, that's so dumb. Dude, it shot me right in the fucking face, you fucking idiot, dude. So bad.
こちらこちらいけいけこちらこちら
Whatever, come on.
こちらこちらうわ癒やすよそれうわいけうわ癒やすよ
Easy there. Calm down.
燃えろ燃えろうわよし
I am unironically kind of fucking this up though, just relax.
燃えろうわ燃えろ燃えろ
Okay. Not a very good artillery, but it's fine. Hotkey that. Kinda close on that MP as well, dude.
止まれこちらこちらいけこちらこちらこちらこちらこちら燃えろ燃えろ燃えろ燃えろ燃えろいけ燃えろ燃えろ燃えろいけ
Dude, stop avoiding the fires. Perfect curvature to avoid that. That was stupid.
そうやそれ
There we go.
いけ
Now, just calm down and play like normal. Finally, dude. 207. Let's go. Fuck yeah. Woo, me, Miles here with the Deb Redeem. Hi, YouTube. That's actually one of these YouTube videos now because of that. At last, I didn't choke at the end. Let's go. I was shaking, dude. I was really shaken by the end there. I was, like, I almost screwed up completely on artillery, taking a lot of hits I wasn't supposed to, but I just got past that with enough MP, so. Nice. Really nice. Oh, did we get a second dab redeem? Sure. Dr. Jang with the double dab. Let's go.